Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be building the Regult Standard Type Battle Pod from Hasagawa. The Regult Standard Type Battle Pod is the standard mecha of the Zentradi forces, or the Zentron forces, in the television series Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. I'm really excited to build this model. I'm a big fan of Macross. I believe that Super Dimensional Fortress Macross, along with Mobile Suit Gundam and Space Battleship Yamato, are the three most influential science fiction animes from the 1970s and the early 1980s. So, getting a new model of the main battle pod, the main mecha of the antagonists of that series, is something really exciting. It's also kind of interesting to me that Hasagawa was the one that built it because previously Bandai had created a battle pod model as well. The interesting thing about Bandai's battle pod is that the model itself was created around 1982 when the TV series came out. So somewhere between 1982 and 1984 is when they finally came out with the model. And amazingly enough, it hasn't been updated since. Bandai has been releasing the same mold for several decades now. As you can see with Big West, they released this new version of the Battle Pod to celebrate Macross's 40th anniversary. Whereas Bandai, with their model mold, they haven't updated it, which is kind of unusual because Bandai is definitely not shy about releasing new model kits of some of their properties. For example, the Mobile Suit Gundam series, they seem to release a new version of the RX-78 or the Zako like every 2 years as they come up with new gimmicks or they refine their model making process. That's not the same with the Zentradi mecha from Macross. This could be because Bandai doesn't own the property. It's actually owned by Big West, and the animation studio Tatsunoko did the animation. So it could be that Big West just hasn't asked Bandai to update its model. It could be that they've just decided to go with other manufacturers. And quite frankly, Big West doesn't seem to be particularly interested in the Zentradi themselves. For them, the Zentradi were just the first of multiple protagonists in the Macross series, and for Big West it appears that the transformable airplanes, the Veritech fighters, they are most interested in. So they're not really interested in the villains mecha so much, so it's left to pre-existing kits and molds such as the Bandai one, re-releases for the to celebrate 40 years of Macross, or several authorized and unauthorized garage kits. So let's take a look inside. Something that right away impressed me is the main body of the battle pod. So on the left here we have Bandai's version, on the right here we have Hasagawa's version. With Bandai's version, what you see is just a kind of standard clamshell two-piece main body. So you would take them apart, glue it together, and then you would have to fill in any lines to get rid of any seams and make it look more kind of anime or realistic. Actually realistic, whereas Hasagawa actually has a whole system where you can where we will be putting all the different pieces together, the back, the front. Here's the front faceplate. As you can see here, is just one unit. Here it will click in through a whole set of instructions with multiple colors as well. This really highlights the technology available at the time that they were manufactured. When Bandai first made its model in 1982, models were prepared by hand, so they were sculpted by hand, and then they would be cut up and vacuum formed. Forms would be created, and then it would be injection molded. So there was a several step process, and you would wind up with a potentially imperfect type of model that you would have to sand or put together. Meanwhile, Hasagawa now has available, digital design tools like AutoCAD or Blender or some other 3D modeling tool, which allows them to put together pieces that will fit together more in a model, but also will be much more precision engineered so that those pieces can be assembled almost in, I would guess in this one it's going to be a form of snap fit model. Glue probably won't be necessary, whereas with the Bandai model, glue is absolutely necessary to keep the pieces together. So that's not a ding on Bandai. At the time that they manufactured, that's all they had left available to them, and they did a remarkably good job using that technology to create a realistic 3D representation of what we would see in the anime. Meanwhile, Hasagawa has more modern tools available to them, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like when we put it together. But I am fully expecting that it's going to be a precision fit, and it's going to look absolutely fantastic, as would be expected from today's available technology. So with that in mind, I'm going to start building, and I'll show you the results once I'm finished. I want to show how cool this is, how close together all these form-fitted pieces, how precision engineered they are. So here we have kind of the interior skeleton on which the rest of the pod body will rest. So it gives helpful instructions. Step 1, 2, 3, like that. So let's put that together. Step 1. Step 1. It's starting to take shape there. Step 2. Take this. Let's see here. Oh, that's on this side. Two, A3. Look at that. Pretty darn cool. AA1. Let's see which side is that. AA1. Into place. Look at that, right into place. Nice and put together. Just like that. Continue on. Let's get this up here. Continue on, it's a PC. It's not. There. Oh, that's 2, 3. Get this one. Right. Well, there we have it. Here we have it. As you can see, the body's putting together, and it's pretty damn cool with the different colors and the parts putting in more or less on top there, just like that. Well, I just love this about this thing. That's real good engineering. Like I said, how Bandai put it together in '84 was really well done for its time. With this, it's just, you know, with additional time and technology, this is just eclipsing what Bandai was able to do back in the day. And there you have it, the completed Regult model. As you can see, it is a massive model. It is huge in size, and it is a very good looking model. I think Hasagawa did an excellent job in capturing both the form and the spirit of the Regult battle pod from the anime. As you can see, I filled in its panel lines with a Gundam marker to help it look even better. I also added a Gundam marker to the lights on the top of the pod and other locations where they looked like they were going to put in clear lights, clear red lights, but they wound up not doing so and just leaving it as plain model. As for the model itself, it is pretty well put together. I had to glue parts of the main carapace, the main body of it together. Just the snap tight fit kind of popped out. I don't know if that's because of me and I warped the plastic a little bit, or if it's thin and it didn't quite fit right. Unfortunately, in gluing it together, I caused a little bit of glue to come out of the seam, and so it kind of marred the surface. But all in all, I think that's acceptable. I put together also, you know, a different model. I would probably sand and do fill lines and eliminate that altogether, paint the whole thing. All in all, it's a great model. The only slightly down part is in putting together the joints with the poly caps. They were a little bit loose, so I had to tighten, especially around the waist area, where the waist joint would be. I wound up tightening that by applying clear nail polish over the pegs where the poly caps go onto, and it wound up making the model even tighter, which was fantastic. So altogether, my reviews, this is a great model. I love it a lot. It was fun to put together. It was fun to color in all the panel lines. The coloring is very close to anime perfect. A future model, I would probably try to prime and paint it and put it together that way. Otherwise, I think it is pretty much good to go as it is out of the box. Like I said, this is a massive model. The thing is huge. As you can see, just the main part of the body is almost 8 inches tall, and then along with the guns, it gets up to the rear guns, it gets up to about 9 inches tall. So it is a nice big model. It takes up a lot of volume. It's not too heavy, but it is stable on its base. Also, it has this kind of cool eye gimmick. As you can see, it's got a hole in there, so it makes it look like the eye camera is following you no matter where you go. Look at that, that's pretty cool. So in conclusion, this is a great model. I liked it a lot. It really fulfills my joy and desire for more Macross, more of the Zentradi, the villains. I also have the light missile pod, and I have the recon pod as well. I'm looking forward to building both of those and adding them to the collection, putting them together with this one. And here it is with the decals on. The decals give it an extra flair and pop that I really, really enjoy. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.